I'm going to give you 3 reasons why I think you should skip the 75 hard challenge. Yes, I said that. One of the most popular challenges out there. I'm going to give you 3 science-backed reasons why I think you should skip the challenge. If you don't know who I am, my name's Eddie. I lost over 125 pounds and I've kept that off for almost 23 years now. And I can tell you that I've done fad diets, I've done fad workouts, I've done the high intensity extreme stuff, and I can tell you from experience, from having lost the weight and more importantly, keeping it off for over 23, almost 23 years now, I'm gonna be able to tell you from my experience what works and what doesn't. This is only my experience, but I think that you should really pay attention to the reasons why I think that you should skip the challenge. Let's get into what the challenge is for those of you who aren't aware of it. So the 75 hard challenge, I did some research, wanted to pull up some studies, and I want to give you the rules of the 75 hard challenge if you're not familiar with it. 75 hard challenges, you have to do something for 75 days. And so if you skip a day, you have to actually start over. So you have to be perfect every single day. If you don't do it one day, if you're on day 45 and you don't do what you're supposed to do, you got to start off at day 1 again. You have to pick a diet to follow. So it can be any diet, which is not bad, but no alcohol and no cheat meals. I'm not exactly sure how they determine what a cheat meal is or not. I guess that would make you determine what the cheat meal is, or I guess they leave it up to interpretation for the person who's doing it. But no alcohol, no cheat meals. You have to drink a gallon of water daily. I have some thoughts on that. My wife actually tried this challenge and I had some thoughts on that, which I'll get into. You have to complete 2 daily workouts. I believe one of them is indoor and one of them has to be outdoor. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. If I'm wrong on any of these, I haven't done the challenge myself, but I have a lot of friends that have done the challenge or have tried to do the challenge. You have to read 10 pages per day of a nonfiction book. I'm not sure if that's real, if it's has to be nonfiction or if it's just a book. I think that's a really good thing, actually. If you're not reading 10 pages a day, maybe you should consider doing that. You don't have to do the challenge to start reading. And then you have to take a progress photo every day. If you don't do any of this stuff, no matter if you're on day 74 and you don't do this stuff, technically you're supposed to start all over at the beginning. Let's get into the reasons why I think this is not a good idea and why I think that you should absolutely skip this challenge and what I think you should do instead. Hey guys, really quick, now that I have you here, really exciting news. I finally released my fat loss course. This is something that I've been working on for a very long time in terms of the actual course and the content, but also in terms of what's in the course and in terms of, I like to call it a system. This has been more than 20 years of experience, of trial and error, ups and downs. I lost over 125 pounds and I've kept that off for over 20 years now. So this fat loss course is unlike any other on the market. It attacks fat loss from nutrition, from fitness, but also from a mindset and a mental model perspective, as well as setting you up for the long term, for sustaining fat loss, because a lot of people lose weight, but then they gain it back. So the link is in the description. Let's get back to the show. Reason number 1, extreme diets are hard to stick with. They're just hard. Anything that's extreme is hard. Now, I am empathetic to the fact that we are human beings and we like sexy marketing. We like the splashy title and the headline. We like the thing that says, do this hard thing for 75 days. I get that. But if you've tried the hard stuff and if you've done the stuff that marketing has put into your brain time after time again, and you're trying to lose weight or something, you know that that's not something that can stick for the long term. Now, this is a weight loss channel. I help people lose weight. And so I'm gonna frame it around weight loss, even though not everyone who does this challenge is doing it for weight loss. Some people do it for a lot of other reasons. And I absolutely respect that. I'm gonna frame it from a point of view of weight loss and just kind of extremes overall. I'm a big advocate of starting small and building consistency versus the all or nothing mindset. Because as a coach, working with clients, working with entrepreneurs, executives, busy moms and dads, the number one thing that I've seen that stops people from getting results is that all or nothing mindset. And 75 hard challenge is essentially another version of that all or nothing mindset. If you don't do everything perfect, you got to start over. So the first reason, extreme diets are very hard to stick with. I did some research and I wanted to pull some studies. So you can't cheat. You have to drink a gallon of water and you have to follow a diet. Okay. Understood. Now, studies show that only 20% stick with tough diets past a year. Okay. So there was an International Journal of Obesity study back in 2017, and it was a meta-analysis. So what a meta-analysis means is that they take a bunch of studies. It's not just one study, they take a bunch of different studies. In this case, they took 29 studies, okay? And they looked at restrictive diets to see how many people could actually, like the percentage of people who could actually stick with it, okay? Restrictive diets had an 80% dropout rate, an 80% dropout rate. For people who did a moderate diet, it was only a 50% dropout rate. So still not great. Half the people still stopped doing it, even if it was a regular moderate diet. But 80% of the people who had the strict diet dropped out. Extreme adherence is hard, okay? The two main things that you need for success in anything, in business and health, and any aspect of your life is adherence, is following a plan, and then consistency, following it day in and day out consistently. And by nature, you're already fighting an uphill battle by going into a diet that already has an 80% dropout rate because you're doing something that's so extreme. This is not me saying this. This is science. And not only one study, 29 different studies. They took 29 different studies and realized 80% dropout rate for people who do restrictive diets. So that's the reason why I think from a diet and from a perspective of all the specific things you have to do with the gallon of water, no cheats, no alcohol, follow a diet, all that stuff, very restrictive, and 80% of the people drop out. So you're gonna find yourself, it sounds like you're gonna find yourself starting over on day one a lot, okay? Let's get into the second reason. The second reason is too much fitness or extreme exercise can wear you down. I've been on the other end of this where I've done extreme diets. I used to love Beachbody workouts. I used to do Insanity. If you guys are, and I love Shanti, if you ever watch this video, I love you, you're amazing. However, doing your workouts 6 days a week was really hard and too much. It was too much high intensity. It was taxing on the nervous system, and it ended up messing up my hormone balance, and it ended up me putting on more weight and being stressed and just a whole host of things. I ended up being deficient in vitamin D3. I ended up being deficient in zinc and iodine. My testosterone dropped because when you have too much stress and you have too much extreme stuff you're doing, too much taxing of the nervous system, your hormones will shoot off, like they'll be off. And one of the things for men is your testosterone will likely go down if you're overtraining. Overtraining is a real thing. So again, did some research. For 75 hard, you have to do a workout, 45-minute workout indoor, I believe, and then another 45-minute workout outdoor is what I believe. So there's a study, okay, that showed, it was a 10-year study, okay, and it was from the Medicine and Science and Sports and Exercise back in 2011. It was a 10-year study, and they compared people who did 150 to 300 minutes per week of moderate exercise, okay, they lost about 5 to 7% of their weight. So about 10 to 20 pounds based on these people and how much they weighed, okay? 60% less regain versus high intensity dropouts. So what it means is they had better retention and better weight loss over the long term versus the people that had high intensity workouts, okay? That were kind of overtraining. So just another study, a 10-year study, that just with moderate exercise, people dropped 5 to 7% of their body weight, okay? And they were able to keep it off, okay? They were able to keep it off for a longer period of time, all right? So again, steady wins the race. This is the old story of the tortoise and the hare, or whatever it is. Steady, slow and steady wins the race. And I know it's not sexy, guys. I know it's not what you want to hear. You probably, when I was doing research for this video, I looked up 75 hard, and there's so many videos on how 75 hard changed my life, how 75 hard did this or that. There's a lot of positives out there, and I'm not saying that there aren't positives about the challenge. I will get into those, and I think that there are some good things about the challenge. However, it reinforces the all or nothing mindset. It reinforces the fact that in order to get any kind of results, you have to do something extreme. And that is not at all the truth. If anything, we need to get away from extreme diets, extreme, fitness plans, things that are gonna break people. And we need to get people to understand that if you're a busy mom and dad, like the people that I work with are too busy to do a 45-minute workout inside and another 45-minute workout outside every single day for 75 days. They're too busy to do that. It's not going to happen. They're not going to do it. And so what you're ingraining in these people's brains is that if I don't do that, I'm a failure. If I don't do that, I feel guilty. I'm not strong enough. I'm not hard enough to do this 75-day hard challenge or whatever. I don't like that mentality because it beats people down and it makes you think that you're not good enough, when in reality, all you have to do is start slow and be consistent. Add small things, all right? For fitness, I recommend start with 7,500 steps a day. Most average people in America, at least, are getting 3,000 steps a day or less. Okay? You're asking them to go from 3,000 steps, which is essentially sedentary, sitting in front of a computer doing nothing all day, and then driving in your car to work and from, and to home, to all of a sudden doing 45-minute workouts, one inside and one outdoor. It's a lot. It's a big jump. You're not going to be able to sustain it for probably 75 days or maybe even longer than that. So why are you going to even do something that you're not going to be able to sustain for a lifetime? You're training yourself to do an extreme that's going to burn you out, and then eventually you're not going to get the results that you want, because if you do lose weight, or if you do get stronger, or if you do get whatever result it is that you're after with the 75 hard challenge, if you do get that result, guess what? You're not going to be able to sustain that on day 76 through 90 or through 120 or whatever the next 6 months of your life. So you're going to end up going back to being the person that you were. Now, I told you that I would talk about some of the good things about this. Some of the good things that stick around the study are things like, okay, I know, for example, my wife tried this. She didn't finish it, but she still reads. So that was an opportunity for her to start to read more, right? So now she still reads, and that was a good thing that came from it. She drinks a little more water. Now, my wife is not a very big person. She's tiny, she's petite. So drinking a gallon of water for her made her sick. I literally had to give her an LMNT electrolyte powder to drink with water because she was drinking so much water that it was literally twice the amount that she was supposed to drink. And so, again, a gallon of water is different for everybody. Not everybody needs to drink a gallon of water based on how much you weigh. You can literally overdrink water and get sick, which is what happened to my wife. So just be careful with these things. These extremes can be dangerous in some senses, okay? So the first one is diets don't last when they're restrictive. You're not going to be able to adhere to it. You're not going to be able to be consistent with it. Number two, fitness, same thing. Extremes, you can do it for the short term, for 1 or 2 weeks or whatever, but you're not going to be able to do that for the long term. 45-minute workouts, 2 a day, 1 inside, 1 outside, that's a lot to do and a lot to ask for a lifetime. Okay, and then the third one. So as I was doing research, one of the most important things, if you follow me on this channel, is that you know the importance of mindset. Mindset is the beginning and the foundation of everything. It's like building a house. If you don't have the right foundation, your house will not survive anything. It'll crumble. And your mindset, what's up here, your belief system, your mindset, your mental model of how your relationship is with exercise, with food, and with your weight, if you have a weight loss issue, all of those things go back to mindset. They go back to your identity. They go back to who you believe you are and what you believe you need to do to be successful. And so this is another example of doing something extreme that requires an extreme mindset. And so I did some research here. So again, 75 hard is an all or nothing thing. If you don't do everything perfect, you got to start on day one. All right. So this is where you get guilt slip in. This is where you get I'm not good enough slip in. And that stuff sticks with you. I'm willing to guess that if you're looking at this channel and you're watching this and maybe you have a weight loss goal or a health goal, I'm willing to bet that you've tried other things in the past that haven't worked. And because of those past things, now all of a sudden you're thinking, damn, like maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not strong enough. Maybe I don't have it in me to lose these 20 pounds or these 50 pounds or these 100 pounds. Okay. I've been there. I know what that feels like. I was almost 300 pounds. I was, I believe, 297 pounds at my heaviest. And I had a really, really long path to go on. And I've tried extreme things. I've done keto, I've done carnivore, these are all tools in the tool belt. I've talked about this before in my other videos where I talk about these specific diets. I don't think that any of them are necessarily good or bad, but it doesn't mean you have to stick to it for a lifetime. The best diet's going to be the one you can stick to for a lifetime. And the best mindset is the one that you can stick to for a lifetime. Understanding that you need to be kind to yourself. And yes, you can do hard things, but But you don't have to do hard things for 75 days all piled at once with the water and the diet and the fitness and the 2 workouts and the reading and everything. You throw too much at the kitchen, throw everything into the kitchen sink, like they say, or whatever the term is. I'm probably saying that wrong. I'm butchering it. But leave it in the comments if you have the correct saying. But if you throw everything at someone all at once, that's one of the biggest mistakes that people make, is then they feel overwhelmed and they say, you know what, I can't do this. This is too much. I've got my kids to worry about, or I've got my wife or my husband or my girlfriend or my boyfriend. I've got work to worry about. I'm doing this other project thing. I've got too much going on. I can't do this. This is too much. I'm overwhelmed. And then I quit. And then I stop. And then what happens is you all of a sudden rewire your brain and you reinforce that thought that you're not good enough, that you're not strong enough, that you don't have it in you, that you can't succeed, that it's hard to lose weight or get healthy, right? That it's hard. It's literally in the word, in the title, 75 hard, right? That you have to do hard things to be healthy, that you have to do hard things to lose whatever weight you want to lose. That's the problem I have with this, guys. You don't have to do hard things. I'm not saying it's bad to do hard things. I take a cold shower in the morning. That shit's hard. It's hard. It's not fun and pleasant, but I do it because I like to do some hard things. I know people that do cold plunges in the morning. No thanks. It's too cold. I live in Miami. The water's not that cold even when you put it at its coldest. But I'm not saying you don't have to do hard things. All I'm saying is you don't have to throw it all at once to overwhelm you. You don't have to do everything all at once. If you want to do a week or 2 or a month of outdoor workouts, do the outdoor workouts. You don't have to do the 45-minute indoor workout and the 45-minute outdoor workout. Why don't you just pick one, right? Or why don't you just do 20 minutes of each, right? Why don't you tell yourself you're going to drink more water? Take your body weight, divide it in half, and that's how many ounces you should have every day. You don't have to do a gallon of water. Maybe you weigh enough where a gallon of water is right for you. Maybe you don't. So you don't have to go to these extremes, because all of these extremes, all they do is reinforce that mindset that once you fail, and you will eventually fail, because it's backed up by studies, okay? In this mindset thing, there was a research study back in 2014 from Obesity Reviews. It was, again, a meta study. So it was a review of 20 different studies, not just one, 20 different studies. Extreme approaches equals 70% regain in weight, right? 70% of the people regain the weight. Raise your hand if you've seen The Biggest Loser, okay? How many people, they've done research and they've done like surveys and they've checked in on these people, because that show is extreme if you've ever seen it. It's super extreme workouts. People are like throwing up, super extreme diets. And then what happens when they check in on these people a year later? Most of them, a huge percentage, I don't know what the percentage is. If you have the percentage, put it in the comments, please. A huge percentage of these people have regained their weight and they're not healthier. And what's happened is, not only are they not healthier, not only did they regain the weight, but now they ingrained and enforced a belief in their mindset that says, losing weight is hard, being healthy is hard, working out is hard, I can't do it, I failed. Even though I had success in the beginning, I wasn't able to keep it off, so I'm not good enough. Whatever else, whatever other limiting belief you have in there, you're reinforcing those limiting beliefs. And that's the problem I have with these extremes and with this all or nothing mentality, okay? This study, they looked at 20 different studies. Extreme approaches, 70% regain weight, okay? When they do a gradual process, when they do more of what I like, which is moderate, like, cut your calories a little, walk 7,500 steps, do small things that you can do consistently over time for a lifetime, 40% better 5-year retention. 40% better 5-year retention, meaning that those people were able to continue to do those habits and they were able to keep the weight off. 40% more of those people were able to do that. And that's 5 years later. So you're doing this for health. You're doing this for an overall healthy lifestyle. Your chances are you're not a bodybuilder. I mean, if you're competing and you're doing some kind of a competition and you're going to be a physique model and you're going to be on stage, yes, you got to do extremes. But if you're not doing extremes because you're not going to be on stage or you're not going to be a physique model, then you don't have to worry about doing these extremes. And that's why I don't recommend this. I think you should skip it. I think you should take the bits and pieces that maybe you can implement in your life to make your life healthier in whatever way you want specifically, because everyone's different. But I think you should definitely pull back on doing the entire challenge. Those are my thoughts. Again, If you don't know who I am, my name's Eddie. I lost over 125 pounds. I've kept that off for over 20 years now. There's a reason why I've been able to keep it off, and it's because I've eliminated extremes. I've eliminated fads. I've done what works, what science says works. If you like this, please share it with someone. Please like, subscribe. Comment below. Tell me if you've tried the challenge. Tell me if you've had success with it or not. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of people who have had success with it, and that's great. But I want to know, what did you take from it after you finished the challenge? What are some of the things that stuck with it? And what are some of the things that were maybe the hardest to do as you went through the challenge, and some struggles there, right? And it's good if you do this challenge, or if you try to do it and you don't make it to the 75 days, at least you can kind of reflect and think about, okay, these are some of the areas that I can improve on. These are some of the things that I really think I can make stick for the long term that are not too extreme, okay? Again, comment below. And then one last thing, if you're still watching, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I actually just launched my fat loss course. It's called Transform 90. It goes into everything that I talked about. It's the only fat loss course out there that has a unique approach of targeting mental models, mindset, nutrition, fitness, and sustaining weight loss for life. So this is a system. It's a course, but it's a system that helps you to implement not only the behaviors and the habits, but to be able to keep that weight off once you already lost the weight. That's the most important thing. Most people can lose weight, and most people have lost weight before, but what they haven't done is they haven't been able to keep it off for a long term. So this is a system that not only will help you with your immediate goals of losing 20 to 25 pounds in 90 days, you'll also be able to be equipped to then keep that weight off, and to help other people, to help your family, to help your kids, to help your friends to lose the weight as well. The link is in the description. I look forward to hearing your feedback. Please comment below on any feedback that you have in terms of whether you have done the 75 hard challenge, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Cheers.